G'day folks, welcome back to Delboy's Garage. This is episode 3 of Project Side Mount. You saw this old thing last night. This is what it finished like after about 4 hours, I think. So I've got about 8 hours in this so far. These just mount up. And tonight really the first job is, tonight Matthew, I want to do some grinding. And it's just about getting all these blobby tack welds off. I want to blend, if I can, blend a little bit of these edges in to make them look just a bit nicer. I welded that on the inside because I want a nice sharp edge on the outside, and this is proud, deliberately so. So I've got to grind that back as well. So there's quite a bit to do, and it's noisy, and it's miserable, and it's boring, and I want to just get that done so it looks half decent, and I can do a test fit and see what is the next stage as it evolves, whether or not that's ready, because really then it's just a case of a bit of body working, get a little bit of filler in the gaps to make it look blended, and then paintage. So not quite so sure how long this is going to take. It's now 6:30 PM. I'm going to start grinding on that now and see what it looks like, see if I can make this pig's ear look a little bit more of a silk purse. At the moment it ain't pretty, but you never know, grinders can do all sorts. So let's see what I can make of it. Let's get grinding. Okay, usual procedure, never without them. Let's go. Right, it's a little bit later now. That is, let's bring it over. That's a little bit nicer. It's a bit warm, and that's a little bit prettier. Just taken out a lot of the excess weld, trimmed up the edges a bit. Like the last piece, like the air filter cover I did, this is going to need a little bit of finessing with the file. So, sorry, just taking the glove off. This is going to need sort of cleaning up, and these edges along here, just want to get, you know, put them up right in the clamp, and then do the old draw file, just get a nice completely straight edge. And I've taken this edge like down, that's a nice rounded corner now, whereas that was kind of overlapped. I just dressed it down with that. The old lap wheel's brilliant, it really does just grind everything back into shape. If you make the thing, bearing in mind that you can lap a lot of stuff back, you just go ahead and make it with confidence. So if you're not confident in doing this sort of thing, just have a go. It really isn't difficult. As you can see, I'm no expert, as you can see, but it's working. And I got an email today from one of you guys that said that he's ordered a 2012 iron, and he's just looking at side mounts. 650 euros. 650 euros being quoted to buy a side mount, because they come with this daft plastic dumb ugly thing which they don't even give you any money back on, and 650 euros. So making one of these, you know, it isn't hard. It's just a bit of sheet metal. You can make it yourself, pretty easy. I think the cheapest I've ever seen them for is about £60, and they're rubbish. They're just literally an L-shaped piece of tin with one hole in, and they just don't look very nice, and they're the size of a garage door. That's neat, it's small, it's beef, and once I've got some body working going on, bit of filler to sort of mould these edges and made it look nice, it will look, like I said, less like a pig's ear and more like a silk purse. So what I'm going to do now is carry on, get the file out, barrels, or even the third drawer, get the old half round, which is now stored on the floor. Get the old half round, get into some draw filing, get these edges nice, just put a bit of finesse into it, make it look good. So probably got about another half an hour of that. Show you what it looks like then. Right, just a quick thing, little tip if you want, sheet metal, you like to get a nice round edge on it if it's quite thin. Half round file on the round side, stroke a long ways, draw filing, just gently, and it takes all the sharp edges off and rounds it, and they stop, the gloves stop the bits of tiny little shards of metal going in your fingers. This is just dressing, it just takes all the burrs off. You can kind of feel it, it's almost like sharpening a knife. There you go, nice round soft edges. That's it, super. And it's up to you how long you keep going. Me, I just like to get it really as good as it can be for the next stage. I'm not an ultimate perfectionist, but I do like things to be as good as they can. People look at your bike, they look at the things you've got on it, and if they ask you where'd you get that and you want to say I made it, then you might as well make a good job, otherwise you make yourself look a bit of a knob. Okay, just a case really making sure that all the little corners and edges are all nice and soft and round. So best test, whip your gloves off when you think you're getting somewhere, just give it a good feel. Starting to get there now, it's down to emery cloth, so it just needs a good emery cloth in all over, get it nice and smooth, then it's time for some body working. Okay, emery cloth. Right, I reckon it's time for a dry test fit. I'm going to slap this on the bike now and just see if it's straight, if it's true, everything's 90 degrees and it sits exactly where I want it to. And now it's time to make any little adjustments to it before we start body working it. Let's whack it on the bike. Right, here it is. Just a quick test fit. Everything fits okay. Now there's a little bit here, just quick, looking over the top, that's pretty much where it should be, but I want to get that that edge there in that way a little bit more. Bit off. When you look at it, it is 90 and it is square and that is straight, but I just want to dress this edge in a little bit to give it a little bit more of a purchase on where it's gripping. So it's literally simple as that, a street adjustment. Not much, in fact. It doesn't really want to move much, it's incredibly strong. Just tapping on that, it feels really strong. That's a result of welding that rod around the inside, has given it a frame. So now that's better. Okay, and the other thing that's important, just to come in there, is when that's on, you can see that that at the top has got a little bit of movement. I don't want it pinching on that. It's only going to sit there just to hold it, so if that rotates down it will stop before it goes anywhere, or that way. So it has to have that little bit of freedom. Just because I'm going to paint it and do other things to it, and that's obviously going to fill up some of that space. So now it's the case of bolting it on. Moment of truth. If it looks like a proverbial pig's ear. Right, big, lift that up so it fits. And that's it, fitted. There it is. Now that's pretty much central. I might have possibly gone in just a fraction more, but again it has to free up and yield to this. I still need to be able to adjust that. So that's pretty much almost where I wanted it. It's good enough. there it is. Doesn't move around too much. Still has a bit of spring there, but I think that little bit of spring is going to prevent crackage, because obviously if it's too tough and too strong, that's when things crack. A little bit of flexibility, but not too much, and if it cracks, I can just re-weld it. So there it is, dry fitted, ready to start a little bit of bodywork. So let's get it back on the bench, see what it looks like, get some moulding and some filler into it. Alright, going to just do a bit of moulding now. Just get some of this remnants of this filler I've got left and just mould in some of these little welds like I did on the last piece. Just a little mould of filler along there just to make it a bit prettier. And you don't need much. You just fill this with your fingers, you don't need scrapers. A bit clumsy really. It's just a case of spreading this stuff into the little spaces. So it looks a bit tidier. Here we go. It ain't hard really. Anyone can do this. I've done this on a couple of items before and it really doesn't look very good when you're doing it, and I guess all you bodywork guys who do this for a living are probably thinking, what are you doing, you muppet? It does look good when it's done, trust me. Alright, here it is about 3/4 of an hour later now, as you can see. It's gone off nicely. So I'm going to get some sandpaper into that, a little bit of rubbing, try and shake that, make it look half decent. Bit up in there. And move on a stage. Right. Leave that. Okay, let's bring you down. Now, that's pretty much it. I've just got all of that filler rubbed back. It's been about 25 minutes, half an hour of rubbing to get that right back. Couple of bits still to do, just get in the corners. But that's dressed out. You can't feel that now. Whoops, sorry, you can't feel that now. It's quite a nice edge. That edge is nice. That was a little bit challenging getting up inside there, but it's quite a nice edge. I'll just drill a hole in the back of that for the wire for the LED when the time comes. But that's about that. Now I'm going to have to put a bit more filler in this because there are little spots where it just needs a bit more. But before I do it, we're going back to the old guide coat situation. So I'm going to poke a guide coat on that, just a primer coat, to let that then dry overnight and sink, and then that will demonstrate all the low spots. I mean, you can see in the shine there is a weld spot. That doesn't matter at all because there's going to be a plate stuck over that, so that's completely irrelevant. But on the back there's going to be little areas that will show up much better than they will now. All this kind of multi-layered surface and different levels, and the steel and the filler and sort of bits of weld. You can't really see where the low spots or the high spots are, so to get this any better, like in there's little areas that have got to be dealt with, but you can see so much more once it's got a bit of primer on it, and it's bare metal and it's rained for 3 days, so it doesn't hurt if this is covered up now. So this is going to poke a guide coat on that, get it in some primer, and then that will, I reckon, be it for the night. So let's get some primer. Just a tack coat as usual, same drill, just a really light coat so it doesn't react. Just stretches out. Most of this will get rubbed off anyway. Hey, last coat. Because it fills too much, it fills everything, and you end up just rubbing it all off anyway. Okay, that is it. That's it. Right, that's it for tonight. Bring it out. As you can see, that's dripping off now on the cloth. That's as thick as it's going to get. And the idea of that is to, as I said, set overnight. Mega thick coat of primer. Well, that will sink and shrink back. It won't look as thick as that in the morning. That's full of thinners and liquid at the moment, as you can see, dripping off. But that's fine because I'm going to rub all that back tomorrow. So that's going to have overnight now. Right, so that's it. Just reminding myself, you guys told me 650 euros for one of these things. Just mental. This has took me 3 nights and a little bit of common sense and a bit of scrap steel. How difficult can it be? Just use it yourself, make it for you. Okay, there it is. Always appreciate the support. Thanks for tuning in and watching Delboy's Garage. See you for part 4 tomorrow.